The inspiration for Smokey Skies actually came from the location that I didn't end up shooting at. About 2 or 3 years ago, somewhere in northern BC, I came across a car lot, and I was, you know, kind of rummaging around in there and walking through the cars, and I was trying to think of a camera movement of panning through the car lot with a character or something like that, right? And then I came across this camper that had its ceiling all smashed in from snow or who knows what. But you know, I went inside the camper and I was thinking of shooting up through the hole, and I really liked the idea of like, you know, a desperate character in there, really afraid of what was coming up, maybe what was in the skies, right? And really watching the hole. And then later on I had the idea of shooting something with a drone up above, and that could be the POV down through the hole in the roof. When I went up there to shoot it this year, unfortunately the whole yard actually had grown over with alder and the whole feeling was gone. It was a totally different place, you know, it was totally green. You couldn't see most of the cars, and yeah, so I just wasn't able to shoot it there. So then when I came home here, I knew of another unique location up in the woods, which is a cabin that had completely flipped over from too much snow over the years or something like that. I'd visited it probably 5 years ago. But yeah, the cabin is sitting on its roof, so everything's upside down, backwards, you know, great place to shoot. Unfortunately, after I hiked all my camera gear in the bush to shoot there, I found that the cabin totally collapsed, which obviously, yeah, it was sitting on its roof. But then I found the outhouse next to it, so that's actually what I ended up shooting in. If you look closely, I'm actually standing on top of a toilet seat. The structure of the film was more or less, I wanted to establish a fiendishly desperate character terrified of the skies, which, yeah. The two main goals of the film was to find a VFX asset and then film everything to best sell that asset. So I found the dragon asset on Storyblocks. I didn't make that, I don't have that kind of skills, but I found the dragon, really paid attention to how it moved, how it, you know, flew, and then everything after that with the dragon shots in it, I filmed it specifically to sell the asset. So that, you know, the drone swooping in from the side as the dragon swoops in from the side. The second main goal, as with all my films, was to build tension through sound design. The overall look from the film actually probably came from the time of year that I shot it. This is right when the California wildfire smoke plume came all the way up to British Columbia. Probably even went to Alaska, really. So everywhere there was kind of this hanging smoke in the tree line, and it had this really kind of blown out, flat, lighty thing going on. So I had my exposure up a little bit higher just because I wanted to catch that blown outness. So the lens I used to shoot this was my Super Takumar 50mm. It's a fantastic lens, but this definitely is not the application for it. Anything where I was shooting a little bit further away, it's not it. My POV looking up at the trees, those are absolutely horrendous shots. When I went back to reshoot them, the smoke was gone, the time of day wasn't there, I just couldn't match it up. Because I shoot this solo, I have to use a variety of techniques. So obviously those running shots, that's me just holding the rails of the rig, blindly running through the woods, which was pretty scary. Did a couple big trips, but it kind of adds to that that jarring. Some of the other shots were I would set the tripod up way down the hill and then run down the hill at it, and then in post I would either zoom in or do some sort of panning, tracking situation, and then add in a handheld shake. The character's costume in the film, that's actually just my clothes. I wanted it to look like he was, you know, dirty, haggard, beat down. The difficulties in filming this were I wasn't able to color correct the dragon very much, so it was very hard to like blend him into the real world. That and it being so bright, when you can see every little detail, it's pretty easy to go, that's dragon, they don't exist, you know? The second main issue was the drone actually. For whatever reason, it decided to be really acting up this day. So I killed a lot of the daytime shooting the drone, and none of those shots actually ended up being that good. Fortunately, I was able to, you know, put the creature POV on top of it and just slapped enough effects on there, distorted the image enough that I don't think you can tell for how short they're on screen for. Because the drone was acting up, I totally burned my day and I wasn't able to shoot an ending to this. So I had no ending whatsoever. It was just me running away from the dragon, and then in post I had to make something. So I came up with the idea of having a flashback sequence, and I needed to hide that I didn't have a dragon blowing fire. So I thought I could have like a dream sequence of his family, and then I would have the fireball come in from behind the family memory, right? Just because I didn't have an asset of a dragon going, "Wah." And then, you know, I made it look like a dream sequence by softening the edges and making it all bright and all that kind of stuff. Of course, all the news footage in there, I had to make all that. As for the sound design, I didn't record any sound on site. So everything you hear is either, you know, from the internet, or I went back to site with my H4n and I recorded, you know, me running in the gravel, running through the woods, all those types of things. And then I was looking for some sort of like high tension, you know, very energetic track, which is that. So I found that on Premium Beat, I believe, and it allowed me to cut from like the nothing sound of just nature, the birds, it's just him and nature, there's no other sounds. He hears the creature, he knows what it is right away, because this is the thing that's like destroyed his life. So he's like, my favorite part of the film is actually the beginning credits and the end credits. I really like how I did the text overlay where the smoke kind of blows in, and then at the end credits there, the dragon just kind of casually swooping along beside. Looks pretty good. Well, that was behind the scenes of Smokey Skies. I'll catch you in the next one.